Okay, folks, here we are again with another one of my top 10 of everything listings. While we've been on lockdown, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. And the other day I watched 2 or 3 videos about top 10 comic graphic novels. And there was one in particular I was watching, an American guy, and I noticed that of his top 10, very, very few of them were actually superhero graphic novels. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. And that got me to thinking, well, yeah, I'll maybe do something along those lines. In fact, just that, non-superhero graphic novels. And so, actually, I've just realised that I've stacked these up the wrong way around. I've stacked them from 1 to 10, and we need them from 10 to 1, of course. So if you'll just excuse me, I'll do a quick shuffle here, and then we'll get round to it. Yeah, I mean, I had a look through my graphic novels, and there are quite a few non-superhero ones, and it wasn't too hard to pick out my favourite 10. So without any further ado, here we go. Right, Sloane by Philippe Drouillet. He's done a few of these, and I mean that's the only one I've got. So, but I mean, it doesn't matter which one you pick; they're all pretty good. This guy's got a very recognisable style. It is science fiction, and most of it was originally printed in heavy metal. I'll just say it's pure straightforward science fiction stuff, but yeah, there's an example of his work which I find most agreeable. You know, a lot of people probably won't be familiar with him because he's not American or British. But yeah, I mean, if you can find anything by Drouillet, especially the Lone Sloane stuff, it's it's just good science fiction. Nothing more to say about it. Right, and at number 9. Okay, what can you say about this guy? Jim Steranko. Always been one of my favourite artists, even though he didn't shine very long in the comic book field. He shined very brightly. And this was kind of an experimental graphic novel, if you, well, yeah, I mean, you have to call it that because it's not a traditional graphic novel in as much as it's the panels and well, I'll show you. It's panels with a text underneath. It's a straightforward detective story, the hard-boiled kind of detective stuff that they did in the 40s. Humphrey Bogart and all of that stuff, Sam Spade and Philip Marlowe. Yeah, I mean, it's a good read, and the artwork's lovely, as with most of Steranko's stuff. I just wish I could find a better version of it, because this one is printed on very cheap paper. It's starting to go a bit brown in places, even though I store it in a dry, cool place. But I'm hoping that somewhere that I've actually got 2 versions of this. There's this, which I think is called the deluxe version, and then there's a very small version, which I also have. But I'm hoping somewhere along the way somebody's done a proper hardback sort of deluxe version of it, and if I can find that, I'll be very happy. So yeah, that was right, 10, 9, number 8. This is Mouse by Art Spiegelman. I mean, this is a mainstream. It's not it's not just a comic book graphic novel. This is a mainstream graphic novel. Sold, I don't know, sold a lot. And I can best describe it to you by, I can't in fact because it's black on red and my glasses won't. But basically it's about the Holocaust. It's two separate stories. One about the guy who's narrating it, his father's experiences, and then the other story is the guy who's narrating it, sort of his interactions with his father in the modern day. It's as I say, it's about the Holocaust and but it's done with animals. Hitler's Germans are the cats, and the Jews are the mice. And yeah, I mean, it's just a harrowing story of the Holocaust. I mean, you all know what that is. I can't better explain it than that. But if you come across it, it's well worth a read. Okay, what can I say about this guy? Will Eisner, one of the comic book greats. When they talk about comic book genius, this guy, he's there for me, he's right up there for me. They talk about Jack Kirby and Ditko, and they're just not in the same league for me personally, because this guy does everyday life, and he does it really well. Contract with God is the story of Frimmy Hirsch, I think his name is. Frimmy Hirsch. His daughter dies, and he wants to know from God why. He wants to know why. He said because he's a religious man, he had a contract with God. He wants to know why his daughter died, and this is the story of him basically wanting to know, why bad things happen. It's one of the very, very earliest graphic novels. Some people say it's the first. I'm not sure about that. There's some debate about it, but it certainly is one of the best. And it's. I mean, nobody does real life as well as. You violated our contract. Look at the anguish in his face there. I mean, nobody does real life stuff as well as Will Eisner. I mean, he does the hero stuff as well. Did The Spirit, as probably most of you know. But this is top drawer work without doubt. Right, okay. Stephen King. I had a bash at reading Dark Tower, and I wasn't that impressed with it, to be honest. And I saw the film, I wasn't impressed with that either. But I am impressed with this because there are lots of volumes of this. I've got the first, I think, 6 or 7 volumes of this, but the earlier volumes, I think 1, 2, maybe 3, are drawn by my very favourite comic book artist, Jay Lee. And there's some really wonderful stuff in here. I'm not sure if it's 100% Jay Lee or whether some other artists stepped in to do a couple of panels here and there, but Jay Lee's. I started collecting Jay Lee when he did his first strip in the Moore Submariner way back, and I've been following his progress over the years, and his stuff now is just it's beyond the beyond. Really, it's beyond the pale. He just does beautiful artwork. I've never seen any artist do stuff that's as gorgeous as his stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's not a bad read. Having said I didn't enjoy the novel, the graphic novel is a lot better. But as I say, it's all about Jay Lee's artwork. Speaking of which, right, Enemy Ace. This is an old DC character from way back in the 70s. I think he started. It's about a First World War pilot, as you might imagine. But the joy of this one is exactly the same as the Dark Tower, is the standard of the artwork. Show you a couple of panels here. I mean, it's printed on very nice stock as well, which enhances the artwork. And I mean, stuff is just absolutely amazing. I mean, you know, you look at that and you feel as if you're in the middle of a First World War aerial battle. Yeah, I mean, it's been out of print for quite a while, as far as I know. I bought this way back in the 90s, I think. But if you ever come across it, yep, Enemy Ace by George Pratt, War Idyll. Right, now we're coming into top 4 stuff now. This is number 4. Okay, The Shadow. Now he's not a superhero. He's a crime fighter, a detective. He uses his 2 automatics and his wits. Nothing like a superhero as we know them. And this is actually the reprinting of the original Shadow series done by Mike Kaluta, who's way up there with Jay Lee as far as I'm concerned also, and Bernie Wrightson, who you know from Swamp Thing maybe. They shared the art duties on this, and this is a reprinting of issues 1 to 4 and 6, because somebody else did number 5. And just wonderful stuff. I mean, Shadow's a big favourite of mine, as you'll know from the video I did of the replicas I have of the pulps, or pulp magazines. But yeah, there's some really nice artwork in amongst this lot. Mike Kaluta in particular has a very distinctive style, as does Bernie Wrightson, but I think Mike Kaluta more so. Classic pose, if you like. But yeah, I mean that's a very good read if you like that sort of thing. And yeah, I'm sorry that's outside my top 3 because I really love it, but the top 3 is really top drawer stuff as far as I'm concerned. And here we have our old friend V for Vendetta, Alan Moore. Now, most people will tell you that Alan Moore's best work is Watchmen. Well, I beg to differ. I think this is his best work, but that's just me. Like I say, this is my top 10, so I'm having it as I want it. Yeah, I mean, this is basically just, you know, some of you might have seen the film, which is a lot different from this, by the way. But it's about an anarchist, basically. And it's a story of him and Evie. She comes across him and he kind of takes her under his wing, and his only intention is to blow up Parliament. That's the Guy Fawkes motif. I'm just saying this for the couple of people who might not be familiar with either the film or the graphic novel. Yeah, and it's I mean, this is a lot more dense than the film. I think it ran. I've got the original comic books. I think it ran over about 10 issues, but this is the paperback version of it. Yeah, I mean, it's a great read, and the artwork by David Lloyd is not too shabby either. Although I have to say he's not one of my favourite artists, but perfectly functional and appropriate for this book. Okay, now number 2, we come back to my old friend Will Eisner. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how much I love this book. It's basically about story of, I think it's four different stories of people who have something to do with this building, and the building is demolished, and it's about their stories after that happens. It's a difficult one to explain without actually reading it, but I'll just the best way I can actually read this one, because it's on a blue background which I can see in these glasses. But it says, in this deeply felt, moving chronicle of a city building and the people whose lives centre on it, Will Eisner explores the collective psychic memory a landmark leaves behind when it's destroyed. The building is both a ghost story and a testament to the human qualities, a melancholy look at how we treat our past, and a robust affirmation of life. I couldn't put it any more eloquently than that. It's just a wonderful book. I was lucky enough to get a signed, numbered copy of this. Got an early one too, 107. You can't find them anymore, but if you get a chance to read this in any form, please do. Now, drum roll, we come to number 1. Miracle Man. Right, I can hear the collective gasp. But he's got a costume on, he's a superhero, he's got spandex. No, he's not a superhero at all. He is a god. I don't know the word for it, he's a god. Yeah, I mean, if any of you read it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a story of Michael Moran, who wakes up one day and finds that he has strange powers, and the story unfolds until he becomes a deity. He even lives on Olympus. There's a wonderful issue where he fights his nemesis, young Miracle Man, I think it is. I get mixed up with all the Miracle Man. There's kid and there's young and God knows what. But anyway, it's his nemesis, and I think it runs over 2 issues, and it's just the most amazing thing I've ever read. The carnage. I'm surprised it ever got past the censors, actually. But it's. I can't tell you how much I love this book. It's just. It transcends comic book to me, and it's got the best ending line I've ever come across. I'm not going to tell you what it is in case some of you haven't read it and you decide you're going to read it. But it's got one of the best ending lines I've ever come across in a comic book. And I've got this. I've got the original comics. They actually came out in Warrior, which was a black and white English sort of magazine format type of thing, along with V for Vendetta. and then it moved to Eclipse Comics, I think it was, in America, and then they printed it, and it finally got, when Moore finished writing it, it got taken over by Neil Gaiman, but it was never finished. The final book of the series was never finished. But even if you just read the Moore segments, I think I've got it over 4 hardbacks, or 3 hardbacks, the Moore stuff. I think the other hardbacks, the Gaiman stuff. I mean, they're quite cheap, so I would urge you to seek it out and read it. So, yeah, and remember, Miracle Man's not a superhero. Okay, now I've just got one honourable mention this time. This is crazy, man. This is Fistful of Blood by Simon Bisley, another artist I rather care for. He's not up there, in the top 3 or 4, but he's an artist that I like. And this is an adult western, if you like, but I mean, I love anything in black and white, and I mean, this is all, I won't show you that page because it's a bit rude, but yeah, I'll find a page that's not rude. We'll get round to it. Yeah, basically it's just all this kind of stuff, But I mean, Bisley's just a law unto himself as an artist. And I think this was printed in heavy metal originally. I've got the original books, but yeah, when I came across the graphic novel, just had to have it because it's beautifully printed in black and white as well. So there you have it, folks. There's my top 10 non-superhero graphic novels. Hope you enjoyed it. As usual, if you have any views on the matter, if you violently disagree or if I disagree or agree with anything I've said, please do let me know. And I've no doubt with the lockdown and what have you, I'll be along pretty soon. So bye-bye for now. Thank you for joining me.